Damn, that's really unfortunate. No. I thought we were gonna get. I thought we had something going, but
yeah, I have to trick it out. You know, like you can't make obvious things. But AJ going with the ice debuff and the triple jump. I don't know what Josh goes, but I know AJ. Well, I know most Batmans don't like this matchup.
Yeah, he was. AJAX was talking about how Batmans don't like the matchup, and also on top of that, he doesn't like the matchup. He said he's especially not comfortable as even relative to that. And I asked him, I was like, well, how does Wonder Woman do? Because I know that's the secondary he's working on. He said, well, I don't know. I haven't worked on it enough yet to even feel comfortable picking it, even if it is a good matchup.
It actually is a really good match for Wonder Woman.
That made sense to me just because of, the answer she has to projectiles, the way she has to just deal with Reindog's options and then punish him when they are on cooldown. And
she definitely gets through the projectiles way better. But Batman, I actually think it's decently good for Batman this patch because of the shadow buff he got. Not a lot of people know this actually, but his Batarang has extra priority, so it doesn't break on Reindog's projectiles in this patch. But
really?
Yeah.
And is that even offline as well? Or?
Oh yeah, it's everywhere, but it's just it's gonna get nerfed.
Yeah, so it's a little bit unintentional.
Yeah, it's super unintentional because it's really good right now. But
Batman needs it with all the Batarang nerfs he's been getting on. So I'm gonna say it, he needs it.
but
right now we're just getting into it. These two players scrapping back and forth. Nobody found anything super significant yet. But AJAX looking to change that. But right now just tied up at 41%, finding his way through these projectiles. But Retro managing to catch the commitment in weaving between widths and CQC and find a little bit of a jump lead right now.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm liking how AJAX is playing, but Reindog getting the lead right now. But advantage state for Batman is super huge. Getting through the projectile with the dodge and then Batarang, which is really good. Dodge.
And Smoke seems, again, I'm not as familiar with this game as maybe I'd like to be, but Smoke seems like a really good tool for Batman in this matchup just because it does make you invulnerable to projectiles, but it does also mean you can't approach and also be invulnerable to projectiles.
Exactly, so you kind of have to stay there, but he's actually using really tricky movement inside of this mode.
Yeah.
If you could tell, and AJ has the lead right now, going for the down tilt down air. I don't like that option because down tilt's actually really good offline. So you gotta just finish that.
And good job there using that grapple cancel to approach but not look for the full hit, trying to just mix up Retro a little bit there. It does work, but he's not able to find that edge guard, or now trying to find his way out of the corner. He does, but gets caught, put right back in. And Retro's done a really good job holding center stage all throughout the night and is just really punishing his opponent for giving it.
He is completely getting walled off right now just because that one commitment he did with the dive kick. He took a total of like 70% because of that.
Yep, and he still hasn't been able to find his way out of the corner. And even with the grapple, well, he does find an upbeat, but isn't able to find too much, takes another hit back. And even though this game was looking really even at the beginning, suddenly AJAX is down not only a full stock, but 110% on top of it.
Yes. I don't know if AJ or AJAX likes the stage, but he keeps going to it. I think it's actually really bad for Batman, but he finally gets the kill with the up.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. At least in our match, I took him there both games. So, so that wasn't him. That was me.
Okay.
So, but yeah, it's definitely interesting, and I trust you when you say it's not the best stage for Batman, because I don't know. Yeah. I'll be honest, I don't know. But right now, speaking of not so great for Batman, and Retro is showing you exactly why, finding the stock there and 1 away now from taking this first game.
Okay. Yeah, and Retro going with the lead, super huge. But Batman, hey, he could get what's going on there? But
that was some trippy effects. Yeah. I mean, Batman, have you ever seen that in the utility belt before?
No, I have not. But hey, it could be good for the future. But yeah, no, just Retro's just getting a huge lead, not really giving it up.
Yeah, and while AJAX has found more openings as this has gone on, once he lost that initial lead or that initial closeness, and there's been that lead, it felt like also his advantage states have dropped off. He just hasn't been able, he's found more hits, but he's not converting them as hard, and he's just not able to win neutral as many times against a character with as many resources to zone you out as Reindog.
Yeah, they're kind of playing the same game. They're kind of doing like a hit and run, both of them style. But Reindog just has better damage for that, because Batman's supposed to get in, get half his damage, but he's just getting walled out completely. You can't find a way in, and when you start losing this matchup, when you start losing the lead, it's really hard to get out of that bomb.
Yeah, and speaking of right. Retro doing a really good job taking the game, and you mentioned they both play this hit and run style.
Yeah.
It definitely feels like Reindog wants to do it more by walling you out, forcing you to commit, and then punishing that commitment, whether you get hit by the projectile or pick a movement option in between them. We saw it come out a lot. Whereas it feels like what Batman wants to do is use tricky movement and use all of the mobility he has with the glider, with the upwards dodge, with grapple, with batarang, to just kind of cover options and use his movement to then convert hit and run situations. So
sure.
definitely a little bit more of whether you want to play a more movement based or a more reactive based play style. And it's really interesting to see the nuance in the game design from these two characters.
Yeah, for sure.
In that play style.
Two different characters, but they could both play very similarly. AJAX actually choosing to go to Cromulons. I also don't like the stage for Batman. I'm surprised he's picking these very high ceiling stages, considering Batman very much kills off the top. He doesn't really kill off.
We saw AJAX do some pretty saucy stuff on this stage against Daquan actually earlier, because the walls give Batman some really good extensions. But once they're gone, it feels like it does absolutely just turn on its head and just become a stage very much in Reindog's
for
favor.
sure.
But
and look at this, he's getting the wall conversion this time, getting 3 projectiles in a row against those wall splats.
And with how small the stage is, when you get rid of those walls as well, it just allows Reindog to control the space so well, but it also gives him less to run away, and maybe that's something AJAX is kind of thinking about here, is if you can't run away as much, I can stop you from setting up to the degree you want to. We're seeing it here early. He is racking on this damage, but at 112, he's really close to kill percent. He needs to find a little bit more to keep this close, or he's risking repeat of game 1.
Yeah, no, oh, there it is. I mean, like, committing a little bit too much to the glide there instead of just getting back. Yeah, and he's gonna get hit by a projectile. AJ trying to get rid of that crystal, finally gets rid of it. And yeah, this stage has really been not working out for him.
Yeah, it feels like, especially with only one of the walls being destroyed, Retro's been able to play with his back to it, control the whole stage, and because of how small it is, his projectiles really just cover everything.
Yeah.
And then AJ's just stuck in the corner. What do I do? Ooh, I have to throw smoke, and then that resource is gone, and then that's where Reindog starts to actually just rack on all the damage.
Yeah, and the wall just helping so much for Reindog, because he really can't just stand behind it and have like a safety net if he gets hit into it.
Yeah. And really good use of the projectiles here. Retro catching him at every opportunity. Dude, AJAX fighting his way back down, but just getting caught pushing one too many buttons, losing the stock for it, and now he still has yet to take the first one, and at 77%, Retro still got an interaction or two to give up.
Yeah, no, Retro's just going insane right now. Just dealing so much damage. He's going for the spike.
Yeah, he was looking for a clip last stock, didn't find it, looked for another one right there. You can just see the confidence in his playstyle, how he's feeling himself right now out and calling out with that down air as well right there. AJAX has to use all the resources to get back, and with the glide up B, that's going to be it.
He had to grapple there. That situation has happened to me a lot too, where I think the glide and up B is enough. But yeah, no, the projectiles are just too much.